Hello there, and welcome to the Totally Levy and Horne Football Podcast. It's the first time we've been back after a short break. Do you know what? I'm glad to be back and talk some football because I probably needed it after being a week away down south, see my family. But sometimes you do when you need to tell your own self. When I tell my other co-hosts that go spend time with your family, I think I needed that as well too, especially with my mom's 60th. But I am glad to be back as well. We're going to talk about the Premier League predictions later on the show. We're going to talk about some other news, what's been going on, especially with Tottenham's woes as well under Nuno. Also, will Koeman get the sack probably today or even this weekend or some point during the international break? We'll wait and see. And also, we'll talk about Newcastle's takeover arbitration situation as well, where that's going to go. But joining me as we're getting back finally live for the first time after we started the show live is Mr. Moving In Day himself next week, Douglas Horne. Douglas, good to hear from you.
Karl, it's been a while. I'm so glad to finally be able to get on and chat football with you. It has been a while. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. You know what? I joined that breakaway, so it was worth it. Mom's 60th went with a bang as well. Driving up and down, taking stuff down for my sisters as a chauffeur, so been a little bit busy back and forth. I was kind of worried about the fuel situation, but I did get a few at Tesco the day before came back home this past week. So yeah, it's been a lot more better.
Yeah. I think going down south actually helps you mentally as well. I think it definitely helps you. But yeah, I mean, at least you managed to get down, and hopefully you'll get down as much as you can, basically.
Yeah, I hope so too as well. Actually, I really do, and I really tried. Like I said, when I'm back home, everything just taken away from me with the pressure and everything. It just goes away. Like when you have ice picks just run fed, that went away within a day or two. So you know what? It's been very helpful, no doubt about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, first thing we're going to talk about is pretty much Spurs woes under Nuno. Nuno is being criticised by most of the Spurs fans due to the style of play, especially after losing 3-1 in the North London derby against Arsenal this past weekend. And also, as well, regarding the other stuff as well, with the 1-0 wins they had to start the season, they have been sliding. Harry Kane is not being his form. He doesn't look interested. Douglas, what is going on at Spurs? Because this is a nightmare. This is what people were expecting.
Yeah, I mean, they've started really, really well. 3 1-0 wins to start the season. I mean, one was against Manchester City as well, which is very, very good. And then obviously, they beat Wolves and they beat Watford, and then the Manager of the Month curse. I mean, it is certainly a curse because after that, Spurs have been rotten, absolutely rotten. And for most of those games, like the Crystal Palace game, they weren't in the game. Arsenal blew them all completely away. And against Chelsea, yes, that first half, Chelsea weren't all great. But if you look at the second half, like Chelsea were all over them as well. And yes, I know they won 5-1 last night, but let's be honest, it was to a team that I've never even heard of, like FK Mura. I've never even heard of them. So, and obviously there's problems with Harry Kane. He doesn't look like he doesn't look interested. Looks really, really disinterested, doesn't he? So there's big problems with Spurs. And it kind of says it all, really, when Fabio Paratici wasn't actually wanted at Juventus by the Juventus board. He was let go, and then Wolves let Nuno go to bring Bruno Lage in. And if I'm being honest, like, yes, I know Nuno wasn't Spurs' first choice, etc., and I know that Paratici was probably not Spurs' first choice as well, but Spurs are definitely struggling, and I think the international break is coming at the right time for them. I don't think they're going to get rid of Nuno anytime soon because it would be too hasty. I think it would be too early. But then again, football's a results-based business, and Spurs are plummeting down the table as we speak. They're now 11th place. It's not good for them.
It's not good for him as well. Your take on with Nuno's style of play is being more defensive tactically. We know Spurs historically have been attacking under Pochettino mainly. Do you think that's been missing so much in the Spurs team, the pressing that they used to do under Pochettino? Why they finished so well in the top four and get to the Champions League final 2 years ago as well?
100%. I think you look at Spurs' side, and like, yes, I know they're meant to be, defending very, very well, but they look like a team that could actually concede any time somebody comes forward or somebody does that, somebody does this, somebody does that. I'm really worried. I am really, really worried for Spurs under Nuno, because I think they've lost their identity. They've lost that attacking flair that they used to have, and it's more counter-attacking football. And for me, Tottenham are not a counter-attacking team by any stretch of the imaginations. They're a very, very attacking side. So you can understand the problems that the Spurs have got. That I don't think anyone would have envisaged Spurs losing the next 3 games for sure.
No, absolutely not. Going on Harry Kane specifically, Doug, the question is as well at the moment, with him not getting that move to Man City, and he confirmed that he was going to stay on. I think since he's made that statement the last few weeks, a few weeks ago, he's dropped deep as much as he was going forward, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's a firing Harry Kane scores that chance he had against Arsenal. The one where he chips it over Ramsdale and it just goes wide. But a firing Harry Kane would have scored that. Yes, I know he scored a hat-trick last night, but as I said, anyone can score in the Europa Conference League as well. But then again, you got to beat what's in front of you, and it looks like Spurs have to deal with that. But I look at their next couple of games, and I don't really see any points coming from their games at all. I mean, Aston Villa. I mean, if I'm being honest, Aston Villa will be absolutely jumping for joy at the fact that Spurs have had to play a Europa Conference League game. Villa have just come back from a 1-0 win over Manchester United as well. So I actually have a feeling that Spurs, it might get worse before it gets better for them.
It does well. And if results don't improve in the next few weeks of Spurs, do you see Nuno getting the sack? And if he does get the sack, who is the replacement? Because there's not a lot of managerial choices outside at the moment.
I honestly don't know, is the honest truth. I don't actually know if he'll get sacked. I don't know if he will leave. It's a very, very strange one, and only time will tell. But I can't see him going anytime soon. I think Spurs would be too hasty.
Everyone, if you want to get your questions in, just write in the comments on any of our social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and also Twitter now, because Twitter is now not using Periscope, and also Twitch as well. So please get your comments in, and we'll answer them as well too. Let's go to the next thing, and it's interesting what's going on in Spain. We have to talk about what's going on at Barcelona, and have to admit, Doug, I did not see this was going to end like this, with the public spat between Juan Laporta and Ronald Koeman, and this saga is going to end probably today or this weekend, or pretty much international break. They've lost 2 defeats in Champions League, losing both 3-0, both to Bayern Munich and Benfica. The drew 0 against Cadiz the other week. Koeman got sent off. What is going on with this situation with Koeman? Because Koeman is under a big contract, and Barcelona look like they can't even get rid of him.
Well, I can't remember the last time Barcelona lost 2 group stage games in a row. I think he's probably the first Barcelona manager in a long, long time to have lost both group stage games. They just look a shadow of themselves. Like every single time Benfica went forward the other night, Benfica looked like they were going to score. And like I jokingly said in my Champions League predictions, could Barcelona go out of the group stage? And I said Barcelona are probably going to finish maybe second behind Bayern Munich. But the more you look at it, can you see them going to Kiev and getting something?
I don't think so.
That's
no.
That's a banana skin, that one. And then I think they've still got to go to Munich. Benfica have still got to go to the new camp as well. But the Champions League kind of saves Barcelona's season, because they ain't winning La Liga. I don't think they're going to win La Liga. They've not got the squad to do it. And Eric Garcia, again, no wonder Manchester City sold him. He is average at best.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Especially when the way he left the club, he didn't want to extend that contract. And I think if he was still, I don't think they would have got Ruben Diaz if they kept Eric Garcia, because Eric Garcia was a good replacement. this is what I was going to say. And I'm reading what Guy Bargas said. I'm just reading from the BBC what he said earlier this week. It's just a matter of time until we hear that Koeman has been sacked. There was a meeting between the decision makers including President Juan Laporta after their flight landed back in Barcelona from Lisbon. They went to the training ground, which is not far from the airport. They put a plan together, timing of the essence, not only to get a Koeman, but also to get a plan in place. He's on a big contract, and they have to let go. I think it's more than 10 million euros to sack him. Barcelona in a situation at the moment where they're being offered by a Dubai company, offered 1.5 billion from a Dubai company alone to help them, not paying off back for the next 12 years. How can Barcelona? Do you think the Barcelona fans and also the members are going to vote for something like that?
I mean, the fact that like Andrea Pirlo is being mentioned as a potential Barcelona manager is just staggering. Yes, I know. Juventus was a very, very tricky job for him, but I honestly don't know who goes in there and solves this problem. In all honesty, I mean, Xavi could go in, but he's a club legend. Ronald Koeman's a club legend at Barcelona, and look what's happened to him. So, I honestly don't know. I mean, Roberto Martinez has been mentioned. I mean, Antonio Conte is not touching Barcelona. You could probably tell somebody saying that, oh yeah, Conte's been linked with Barcelona, that like Barcelona is going to be a good fit for him. Conte doesn't do these things, so it's a very, very weird one. I honestly do not see who goes in there and makes it a quick fix. I mean, Arsene Wenger's been mentioned. I mean, what was it? Patrick Kluivert's been mentioned. It's like, no. You want to stay away from these, like, you want to stay away from the club. I think Xavi's probably going to get it anyway, but it's a tricky one. I mean, who do you think goes in there? And it's not a quick fix, because I think Barcelona are going to have just a couple of seasons where they're probably not going to win anything. Yes, I know the fans will not be happy with this, but they're a shadow of themselves, and without Messi, they look absolutely average.
Yeah, I think long-term wise, I think it will be Xavi. I think Xavi is probably the long-term wise of going as the next Barcelona coach. I think short-term wise, it's between two managers, and I hate to say it. And I think if the Martinez story does not go away, Roberto Martinez, I think there's a chance that he could get it, or even if Conte will not even touch it. But they say never with Antonio Conte. He likes a big project. He knows how to deal with fans. He had to deal with that at his previous clubs as well. So it wouldn't be surprised at all, to be honest with you. But yeah, the situation with Barcelona, it's sad to see, because we didn't think it was going to get that. We kind of expected it when we know that Messi was going to leave, but this has really gone further down than I expected. It's really drained so much, and I'm not going to lie to you. I think a few of my colleagues I spoke to at work were saying the same thing on our Slack channel as well about this, and it's sad. It saddens me. It really does. It really saddens me.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the thing is, though, Barcelona should have learned their lessons from giving players so much wages, and you know what? It's just, that's why they want the Super League, and unfortunately, they in Madrid. I mean, obviously we'll go into probably Madrid in a wee bit, but suffering really strange. Like, I can't remember Benfica beating Barcelona 3-0.
No, it's been a long time. Yeah.
Funnily enough, I did actually expect Benfica to beat Barcelona. I think I said a 2-1 win, because I just felt that Benfica were in the better form, and the more that this goes on with Barcelona, the more you have to wonder, where are they going to finish?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because if they don't win against Atletico Madrid tomorrow night, that, I think, Koeman is really straight out the door after that game. There's no surprise about it if they don't beat Atletico Madrid. It is interesting. We have to go about Real Madrid as well, too, because they lost 2-1 to Sheriff, and a lot of people were surprised by it. The guy, the Florentino Perez, who created the Super League, which somehow UEFA has dropped the legal case now against them. somehow has got a little bit of payback by these professional players that have only just existed for just at least a decade.
Yeah, it's a very, very weird one. It really, really is very, very weird. But I have to say, credit to Sheriff. I thought they were fantastic. They played very, very well. What a cracking finish for the winner. You know, some people would probably expect like if it was like a deflected shot, you'd be like, oh yeah, but it's an absolute thunderous strike, and Courtois is not getting there. Anyway, I really like the look of the left back. Is it Cristiano? Is that the left back? He looks a very, very good prospect. I don't think he'll be at Sheriff before the season's out. And some of these players who are like part-time players, I think you might see them getting big moves into Europe. I thought they were absolutely terrific the other night. And yes, sitting top of the group as well, which is pretty mad as well. And they've got Inter next. And look, Shakhtar Inter was not a great game anyway, but no, Sheriff done very, very well. You'd expect Real Madrid to potentially go out into Moldova and probably turn them over there, but it's a great victory and probably one of the biggest upsets in Champions League history.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about that. Absolutely, indeed, well done to Sheriff, and I hope those players really do get some big moves around you, because there will be some really fantastic gems for certain teams to purchase from a team that only just created over 10 years ago. Really is incredible.
It is, and there's only 8 teams in the Moldovan league as well.
Absolutely indeed. Next thing, Doug, we have to go to Newcastle. What an interesting tribunal it has been. We know that the Premier League blocked Newcastle's Saudi Arabia takeover due to the certain situations, which we're going to read out. For what the QC from Daniel Jow, who's representing Newcastle, he said that the Premier League abused his position after it was improperly influenced by other clubs, building into blocking the Saudi Arabia-led takeover. Has heard that led to unfair application of rules and abuse of the position, which distorted competition. There was also claims as well that Newcastle was threatened to be expelled from the Premier League. How serious is this? Because this decision is not going to come to January. How serious is this now? The Premier League has done something to threaten Newcastle.
It's very serious. I think the fact that the Premier League have been threatening to expel Newcastle is crazy. Yes, and I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want a Saudi prince to be owner of Liverpool or the owner of Leeds. In all honesty, would you agree?
100% agree. I do.
So I think, look, if Newcastle get their takeover, then fair play. But the more this drags on, the more it's going to affect their performances on the pitch. I mean, they were unfortunate to draw with Watford last week. They should have probably won as well. But as I said, the more this drags on, the more the results are going to be affected. And I mean, if the takeover goes through, Steve Bruce is out of a job. I think that's a safe thing to say.
Yeah, I 100% agree with this one. If the Newcastle takeover is not going to be dealt with, and in the January the tribunal claim says that the Premier League was right in its decision to block the Saudi Arabia-led takeover, what does Newcastle do, or what does Mike Ashley do?
He probably sells up, in all honesty. I think he wants to sell up. I think he's starting to get. Well, he is a hated figure on Tyneside anyway, but you worry for Newcastle. And look, Newcastle are a fantastic football club. They always have been, but it just stinks of negativity at Newcastle. I honestly don't know where they go from here.
Yeah, I just agree. It's going to be really difficult with that one. It really is. Before we go into that, your situation with the Champions League briefly as well, because with Man City losing 2-0 to PSG, what was he disappointed from Pep after this week as well? Not stopping Messi in that game.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool man marked him at Anfield, and well, obviously the rest is history from that game. But yeah, City keep changing their team, but I don't know if they had one eye on Sunday or something like that. But it's a very tricky group because you can obviously see that City have obviously won against Leipzig. Leipzig have lost 2 games against Club Brugge and Man City as well. PSG drew with Club Brugge as well. So it's a very, very interesting group, this one. But yeah, City were disappointing. Thought Kevin De Bruyne was a bit lucky to stay on the pitch. I think you've seen red cards given for much less. But City do have to improve for sure.
Absolutely. Surprised Chelsea lost 1-0 to Juventus on Wednesday as well. You surprised that Chiellini just had Lukaku in his back pocket and just really, really kept him isolated in that game as well? Because that was surprising as well, compared with what Lukaku did to them last season.
Well, my good friend Dan from the Mighty Reds TV, he's actually said to me that he's a flat track bully. He will do very, very well on certain amount of games, but there's going to be some games where if he comes up against a Chiellini, if he comes up against a Van Dijk, if he comes up against a Varane, for example, then I think he's going to struggle because flat track. I mean, he didn't get the service against Juventus the other night, and he was isolated. He was completely isolated. So it's going to be very, very intriguing to see what actually happens with Lukaku. But Chelsea 2 defeats in a row. I don't expect him to be beaten from Southampton, but you just never know.
Yeah, absolutely never know as well. Before we get to the predictions shortly, we have to talk about what news has been dominating, and we would have had Reagan on because I know he's now back at uni and he's got classes on Friday. The situation at Derby, Derby now gone into administration. I read the story on Athletic of how Mel Morris just used about £200 million, nearly a quarter of £1 billion poured into the club because of on transfers and so much infrastructure. Do you worry? Do you worry for Derby, or do you think there's something in the air? Derby, the blue sky will open, and Derby will resurrect itself.
Well, to be fair, they are actually doing pretty okay recently. I mean, they've won a couple of games, haven't they? They beat Stoke the other night, and I think they beat somebody else as well. Name off the top of my head, I can't remember, but all they have to do is win games. If you keep winning games, you're gonna potentially stay in this league. Look, Derby are a good team. It's just a pity that you've got rich businessmen like Mel Morris doing this kind of thing. But I've got an unpopular opinion about businessmen, and when clubs go to the wall, I feel that businessmen like that should have jail time.
Oh yeah, I 100% fucking agree with that one too, Carlos. I literally do, because it's surprising the way he's done this, and not even, like I said, and what to all the transfer money that they got back from certain clubs to what the Premier clubs bought them during the last couple of seasons, and
if you compare Derby to Bury were just thrown away like that by Steve Dale, who is not the most popular person ever, but he came out in TalkSport and spoke a lot of absolute rubbish as far as I was concerned, and I just feel that Mel Morris has let slip what's actually happened, and then obviously Reading are getting a points deduction for financial fair play breakages as well. It's just something has to be done, and whether a salary cap or not would help. I think there's going to be a salary cap in Spain anyway. I think you might see a salary cap in England.
Yeah, which it is. I think Barcelona's circle is really dropped down to a massive league, from what I've heard. So the question is, if a British circle out the EFL, will that help football be sustainable, and will that it be coming into the Premier League as well too, if it becomes sustainable in the EFL?
Hopefully, and I think it has to be done, but we shall see. We shall see.
Absolutely. Let's go into the Scottish Premier League as well, because I know we've not spoken about this for quite a while, and we thought this would be a good time. Really some interesting games tomorrow. Your boys, Livingston, not really good at the moment under David Martindale. They're going home to St Mirren tomorrow. Is this a huge game?
Yeah, I mean the next three are very, very massive. I think we've got, I think it's St Mirren, Ross County, Dundee United. I think. So we have to win these games. We just must win these games. I mean, look, Hearts played really well last week, a 3-0 win. I mean, you would have obviously been happy with that, but I mean, it was just a terrible performance, I thought, against Hearts. And but the Celtic result has kind of papered over the cracks as well recently. But yeah, tomorrow's a must win, as far as I'm concerned. Must win.
It is a must-win game. It really is as well. And like I said, Celtic as well, being on poor form as well. They lost 4-0 last night to Bayer Leverkusen. What does Ange do now? Because they have really been stuttering at the moment. So they got Aberdeen on Sunday, and that they also been stuttering as well on the Stephen Glass as well. So two teams out of form.
It could be something like 5-5 or something. I mean, geez. I mean, I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know with what's happening to Aberdeen, but it's not been great for them. And to be honest, Celtic were okay last night, but it was defensive mistakes yet again. And I actually fancy Aberdeen to do Celtic on Sunday. I really do. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling they might do them.
It's going to be interesting as well, because I'm going to probably do my predictions in a second, actually, because I know you've done yours. So I'm going to try and do my predictions. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, because I really need to look at the form guide. And like I said, Hearts have been tremendous as well. Like you said, I look at the table. I look at the table as well. It's really cool. I think this is going to be an interesting title race. So if it does become Rangers, Hibs, and Hearts, and even particularly Motherwell as well too, because they've beat 1-4 in the last 5 games as well too. So this is going to be quite interesting. The Celtic, if don't win this weekend, I think the title race is really going to be between 4 clubs at least.
Oh, absolutely! It is still early on, though. Let's put it this way: it is still early on, but I can see where you're coming from on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go do my predictions actually. So the games this weekend. Right, so tomorrow's game, Dundee United against Ross County. Oh, that's a tough one, because I think Ross County have been poor, but Dundee have been tremendous despite they're a decent start actually. I think there's still going to be a winning run for Ross County. I'm going to say 2-0 to Dundee United actually.
Yeah, I've gone 2-0 Dundee United as well.
Hearts against Motherwell, another tough game. This is going to be really tough. I would like to have a draw. I think we could get a win. I think this is going to be a 2-1 win just about. But
I think I said 1-1. I think I said 1-1 for that.
Okay, fair enough. I will be happy with that if it does come to that. Your boys at home to St Mirren.
Yeah, must win. I'm going 1-0. 1-0, Levy.
Yeah. Do you know what? You're only 3 points behind St Mirren, actually. And they have a better goal difference. Oh, that's a tough one. I think you can scrape it. I think you can scrape it just at least 1-0. I think 1-0. I think you scrape it.
Okay.
St Johnstone against Dundee. Right. Another tough game. I thought St Johnstone would have had a good decent start to quite honest. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought after the way they finished in the last season, I thought they were really good, decent, but they've really been a bit poor at the moment.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go for a 2-0 win to St Johnstone. I've been looking at Dundee's form recently, and it's not great.
No, it's not great. I'm going to say 1-0 to St Johnstone. I really am going to say 1-0 to St Johnstone. Sunday's games, right? It is Aberdeen against Celtic. Yeah, this is going to be interesting now because
2-1 Aberdeen.
I'm saying 2-1. I think Celtic just get just. I think Celtic could win this 2-1. Actually, I think this is one of the biggest game that they turn it around.
Yeah, it's a very, very tricky one to call. Actually, it's a very, very tricky
Very,
one to call.
yeah, very tricky. And the last game for the SPFL on the Premiership, Rangers at home to Hibs.
I think Rangers should win that. I think they'll bounce back from the disappointment in Prague yesterday. So I'm going to go 2-0 Rangers.
I'm going to say 2-1 to Rangers. I think this is going to be very. I think it will be a close game, no doubt. Like I said to Andrew a few weeks ago, that Hibs are just tremendous. I like how Hibs have been playing with the bits when they've done the business, but I think going against Rangers at home, I think it's quite tough. I think it's going to be 2-1 to Rangers.
Yeah, it's a tough place to go to. That is for sure.
Absolutely right. Let's go to the big games, to the Premier League before we go to our international break. Which, yeah, I'm not enjoying that one, but
no, neither am I.
All right, then. So tomorrow's game, we've got the Saturday lunchtime kickoff between Manchester United against Everton. I'm going to go through the team news with this one as well because I know that Marcus Rashford looks like he's on his way back now. He looks like he's back to training after his surgery, his shoulder surgery. It's gonna be. I think Man United needed that result on Tuesday night with Ronaldo scoring the winner. But they do. But after that 1-0 defeat against Aston Villa, can you see Man United bouncing back?
Yeah, I can. Apparently, Everton are without Richarlison, Koeman, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think it was another one. I think it's Doucouré and potentially Pickford's out as well. So that's not easy for Everton. I think Rafa will give it a good go, but I'm going to just pip United to win this one. 2-1, I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'm going to say I might go for 2-1 as well. And also, despite Harry Maguire is out with the calf injury as well, and hopefully Luke Shaw could be back in as well. So it'll be interesting to see if they do. But I think Roby's out, and I think Gambian looks like he's going to be back in the squad tomorrow as well. But I'm going to say 2-1 to Manchester United, actually.
Yeah.
So next game is Burnley against Norwich. So team news for that one. Maxwell Cornet has been ruled out because he's a hamstring injury after the 1-1 the draw against Leicester. Mateus Vidra and Jay Rodriguez are now both fit. They should be available for Sean Dyche's 400th fixture as Burnley manager. Norwich will remain without Christoph Zimmerman, Placenta, Todd Cantwell, and Sam Byron. Billy Gilmore has a foot problem. He will be assessed. And Tim Krul set to make his 200th Premier League appearance. Talk about Norwich, Doug. It's not been good. This run has been, well, we can laugh at that, but for Norwich fans, it's been woeful.
Yeah, as far as this game is concerned, this could go either two ways. You could be last match of the day, could be a boring 0-0, or Burnley will get 2 quick goals and just beat them. I honestly can't see Norwich getting any points from anywhere. That is for sure. But then again, you could say, yes, Burnley haven't won yet, but I look at this game and I'm going to have to say Burnley. I'm going to have to say 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 as well, actually. Also, tomorrow's game as well, at 3 o'clock kickoff, is Chelsea against Southampton. No Reece James, Doug, which is very interesting because he's now injured, so he's not going to be in the England squad. But we're looking at other news as well with Chelsea.
Yeah, he's in the swimming pool or something. I read that Tuchel said that he's training in the swimming pool, which is interesting. But obviously it must mean he's injured.
He is still not in N'Golo Kante. He still continues to self-isolate. Christian Pulisic is expected to miss out, but we do expect to see Mason Mount is fit for tomorrow. Southampton will assess Stuart Armstrong after he's resumed training for a calf injury, and also Theo Walcott. But Loney América Borrega is eligible to face his parent club. So, yeah, where do we go from here now, Doug? I think this is going to be a simple Chelsea win, isn't it?
Yeah, 2-0 Chelsea. I think they'll bounce back. I think they're a much better team than people make them out to be. So I'm going to go 2-0 Chelsea.
I'm going to go say 2-0 as well, too. Right, next game. Yeah, I'm dreading this one because this is intense for me. Leeds against Watford. Doug, I don't know if you want to ask me questions because, yeah, I'll try to answer the best ways I can.
Are you worried about Bielsa?
Yeah, he's never been in this form when he's lost consecutive games and not getting a win in the first couple of games. It's never happened to him in his managerial career. So, yeah, it's very tense at the moment. It really is.
Yeah. As much as I would like Leeds to win, I just look at your team at the moment, and without Bamford, I just think you're lacking something. Rodrigo, fair play to him for like having a goal last week. I think if you're going to play someone up front, I would play Rafinha in the false nine. In all honesty, I think he's a very, very good player. But I am going to say, sadly for you, I think Watford will win this game. I'm going to go 2-1 Watford.
Right, okay. Well, as I said, we're hopefully getting Rafinha back as well as Diego Llorente, and Paxo Struck is back in after he cleared the 3-match ban. Luke Iney requires minor knee surgery, and Batford and Koch remain all sidelined. Peter Ebio faces a 5-month absent with a torn thigh muscle. Tom Cleverley is recovered from a concussion, and also Daniel Batchman is fit for a knee injury. I think this is a must-win game. I'm going to say this right now. I think this is a must-win game for us. If we do play Rafinha as a false nine, I think we can win this 2-0. I think Watford, don't get me wrong, I think Watford have been okay at the start of the season. I'm not going to knock them off, but I think we can win this 2-0 to go on this year. I think it's a must-win game. It's 2-0 or nothing because we just need to be better in our defense third, where we let the attacking final third get past us. But if we get our players back, I think that's huge for us completely.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's all going to be on that start for it's all going to be on that start for Leeds.
Yeah, it is as well. I'm looking at here that Leeds could win. This is a start as well. Leeds could fail to win any of this open 7 matches for the first time in 94 seasons of the league set if they don't win tomorrow, and also can equal their longest winless home run of 4 games after the beginning of the top 4. Let's say last set in 1997.
Oh, silly me.
Yeah. Wolves against Newcastle. Team news for this war as well. We do expect Ryan Nori, who's back after he missed against Atlanta due to concussion. Johnny, Pedro Neto, and Yosin Mergeta, and still long-term absences. They're not likely to return until next year. And Joe Willett is being nursed in the toe. Probably could be is available for Newcastle. And Callum Wilson, Jamal Lascelles, and John DeShelby should be all fit for the game after the international break. Yeah, fair play to Wolves. I know they've been in some good decent games and just not get wins, but I think they're now getting a little bit better now, a little bit better than Bruno, but they do need this win, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they played really well last week, and I was made up for Raul Jimenez getting the winning goal as well. So he's had such a torrid time. Newcastle were unlucky against Watford. Jacob Murphy. I mean, all he has to do is go down Foster and he scores. But manages to fluff his lines. Interesting stat actually. 5 of the last last 5 meetings have ended 1-1.
Yeah, this is interesting because
I'm going 1-1.
six luck charm. Yeah, I might go for 1-1 as well. Actually, I think Newcastle will just play out for that draw. I think they will do. Saturday evening kickoff as well at 5:30. Brighton against Arsenal. We've seen a bit of a resurgence at Arsenal after that huge win they've had. I think against Spurs. Not having you. Do you think Mikel Arteta is now lucky he's staying? He's got his job safe for now, and to hopefully can get some more wins as well.
Yeah, I think he has kept his job safe for at least another. And I'll be well at least, but. Brighton, that'll feel like a win to them the other night against Crystal Palace because they didn't play very well, and then Mope gets the equalising goal. This is a tricky one. This is a very tricky one to call, but
yeah,
I'm edging towards Brighton. Do you know that?
I know you are. I know you are because of how they started the season, and also it's going to get interesting if, yes, Basima is going to be back tomorrow, because I know he's been out for 2 games with a knee problem. Danny Welbeck is hopefully is unavailable as well, and Stephen Azarte as well. But hopefully they are unavailable. Epic Menu is also injured, as well as Adam Webster. Arsenal's old absentees, Gareth Xhaka, was still reduced by Albert Sabri Lokonga replacing him. So, yeah, it's interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think Brighton could do something against Arsenal, actually. I really could. I really could see that again.
I'm going to go for a Brighton win. I'm going to go for a Brighton win. I think Arsenal fans will come back down with a bump. I'm going 2-1 Brighton.
Yeah, I'm probably going to say 2-1 actually to Brighton as well. And we do need to get Sophie as well from going to TV as well at some point, because we do need to get her opinions as well at the start of the season as well. So, yeah, but interesting. So we have 3 games on Sunday, and Crystal Palace are home to Leicester. Leicester a bit disappointed last night, Doug, especially losing 1-0 to Lega. Well, so this is a bit tough for Leicester. After so many times they're trying to finish in the top 4, they missed out. Do you think the Europa League's now affected their season in the Premier League, in the domestic state league as well?
This is a problem with Europa League football. It affects your form, and I honestly do think that Leicester. I don't see what's going to change for them in any time soon. I think they need to get all their players back fit. Brendan doesn't know his best 11 either, so it's a very tricky one. But Palace are starting to get their ideas across with Patrick Vieira. Again, another tough one to call, but I'm going to say Palace 2-0 win.
Yeah, I think Palace looks decent at the moment under the year. They're starting to get played out. The way they play against Spurs as well. I think they were very unlucky. Did he get that win against Brighton, which I thought they would have won that game, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to say 2-0 to Palace as well, actually. I just don't see Leicester. I think Leicester is just faltering a little bit at the moment, and I think Brendan Rodgers needs to work on why things have been an issue. And I think having Kelechi Iheanacho back in the squad for Sunday, as he did trouble yesterday due to these problems, which was very interesting. Vieira has got no injury issues. He's going to select from the unchanged squad. Like I said, Iheanacho will be back in. Johnny Evans will be a doubt for this weekend as well, after he missed the defeat due to ongoing foot problems. So, yeah, I would hopefully. I think Palace could do something here. Right, Spurs against Aston Villa. I think if you said to me a few weeks ago, I thought Spurs could do something against Aston Villa, but my mind's changed a lot since how Spurs have been at the moment and where Villa are at the moment.
They'll all be rampant. They'll be on a high from beating Manchester United. I think they'll go to Spurs. I think they'll frustrate them. I can see Spurs grabbing a goal, but I think Villa will be too strong. I'm going 2-1 Villa.
All right. So team news for that one: Steven Bergwijn is unlikely to recover in time with an ankle injury. Ryan Sessegnon remains out. Aston Villa remain without Leon Bailey and Morgan Sanson. And hopefully these people will get them back after international break. Axel Tuanzebe will be back in the squad after he was eligible to face his parent club match night this weekend. I'm going to go say 2-1 Villa. I think Villa's really done well, especially they beat them last season at the New Stadium when the fans came back in. I'm going to say 2-1 to Villa, actually. I really do. And a London derby tomorrow between West Ham against Brentford. This is going to be an interesting game. Two teams been on good, decent form as well. And we're going to go through their team news as well. But in a bit, actually. Doug, huge win for West Ham last night in the Europa League last night. Can you see them going all the way in the Europa League stages?
Yeah, I can. I think they're in a very good group, actually. When you look at it, they've obviously got Genk, Rapid Vienna, and Dinamo Zagreb. I think they should top that group pretty comfortably. In all honesty, but Brentford were fantastic against us last week. Probably unlucky not to win in that game, if I'm being honest. But look at these two. I think West Ham will be a bit tired from the Europa League. Obviously, not having to travel very far. I think Brentford can go at this West Ham team and get a couple of goals. I am going to go for a 2-2 draw.
All right. Team news for both sides start with West Ham. Vladimir Kufal is a doubt after missing the game yesterday against Vieira with a groin injury. Ryan Fredericks missed first game and may miss out again. Thomas Frank says that Ethan Pinnock is available to start being forced off during the draw against Liverpool with a hip issue. Josh De Silva and Matt Sorensen are the only places missing for the Bees and long-term absentees. I have to ask you about Brentford because your team really thought they, was winning at the time, and Brentford might have come back. Were you disappointed for Brentford coming back and equal to a 3-3 draw?
It's not so much disappointment. I think a draw was a fair result. I don't think we turned up in that game and played to our best. Brentford had a game plan. They stuck to it. Ivan Toney and Mbeumo caused Van Dijk and Matip so many problems last week. So they're a very, very good side, and they've taken to the Premier League like a duck to water. So for all the people who said that they would go down, I think we'll be eating their hats or doing something like that. I've been very impressed with Brentford, and as I said, long may it continue.
Absolutely. I think this is an interesting game, actually. I think this is going to be a draw. I do agree with you. I think this is going to be a draw. And I think there will be goals from both sides. I think I'm going to go say a 2-2 draw, actually, because I think Brentford will find West Ham's weakness after the tiredness they had last night. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Brentford get a draw, actually, on Sunday's game. And the final game of the weekend before the international break, it's a big game as well. Liverpool against Man City. Doug, I know you've been talking a lot about this game during this week as well. Your team news, you knocked that TAA. He's out, due to groin injury during training. No Harvey Elliott as well, still injured as well as Thiago. No, Man City don't expect Ilkay Gundogan and Zinchenko return as well. But otherwise, City have a fully fit squad. This game's huge for Liverpool because they are top of the table, just a point ahead of Man City. With this game, I wouldn't say it's a lot too early, like I said, but would it kind of decide the title race where it goes at the moment?
It's too early. It's too early to say because both teams have got a really tough October coming up as well. We've obviously got Watford away, Manchester United away, and then I think it's Brighton. I think at home. So yeah, it's a tough October for us. But I look at this game. I look how City played against PSG, and I feel we can get at them. I think this game is watch it finish 0-0 with all the hype over it. But no, I don't think it's going to finish 0-0. But I think I'd be more optimistic in my prediction because I do see this going either way, in all honesty. I have gone 3-2 to Liverpool. I think we are going to win this game.
Yeah, you put me on the stickler with this one because as I said, City's had a good decent start despite what's happened against PSG. Yeah, it's a tough one with that one.
I would take a draw. I honestly would take a draw as long as we don't get beat. But it's not going to decide anything. Not going to decide anything before the end of the season for sure.
Well, in my heart, I would say a 2-2 draw actually. But in my head, I think if like I said, without TAA, I think that right hand side is going to be very interesting. That right hand side for your lot, it's going to be very interesting because who you going to mark? If either Grealish or Sterling or Torres, it's going to be interesting. If it's Grealish, I think that's going to cause for trouble for one of your right backs. Yeah. I hate to say, Doug, I love you. You know what I do, but I'm going to say 2-1 for City to Man City took out ownership. I feel like City has something to prove, and I think they need to prove to Liverpool that no, we didn't falter 2 seasons ago, so you beat this. So I just think it's going to be a 2-1 win for City.
It's going to be a cracking game anyway. I think it's one of the games of the season for sure. So I think it's one of those games where people will enjoy it, but it's going to be a very cracking game. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and also you are going to be moving to your new flat on Monday. Actually, how huge is that? After all the time
it's
when you didn't get the keys 3 weeks ago, and I know what you were going through, and I can understand that. I know you've been itching to move in.
yeah, I can't wait. Honestly, it's going to be it's a big change for sure, but I'm looking forward to it.
Listen, I'm going to have to teach you all some cooking tips as well if you're going to be cooking from scratch as well. So believe me, you're going to need my help with that one.
Aye, definitely.
Doug, you've been as a pleasure as always. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll get you on Tuesday. We'll talk with the Premier League review and the EFL. Hopefully get Reagan as well talk about some results. Even though I am off, I would have been off on Monday, but unfortunately my colleagues, one of us going to Manchester and the other was off, so I had to cover Monday shift.
Oh right, okay. No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for asking me on again. It has been a while, and yeah, hopefully we can get more content out on this channel for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Now I'm a lot more refreshed now. I'm just going through this training with work, so I am doing this 11 till 7. One more week, and I'm back to my normality. So don't worry about that. So yeah.
Well, you take it easy.
Thank you very much, Doug. And thank you very much to everyone who's been watching it as well. You can watch this show again on YouTube once in a few hours' time once it's been uploaded. Also, keep an eye on our content as well as on our Facebook page and also YouTube, as well as on Twitch as well at Levy Horne Foot Pod, and also Twitter at Hellish Foot Pod as well. But thank you very much. We'll also have this audio version on our podcast as well to be downloaded for everyone this weekend. But it has been a pleasure as always. Thank you very much to everyone, and we'll see you again next time. Take it for now. Bye-bye.